Pulse Beat News. WKBW temperature standing at 73 degrees. Complete weather service follows the news from KB Action Central. Well, if you heard it first, you were listening to WKBW, that's for sure. One man was killed, another injured this afternoon when they were hit by a lightning bolt as they sought shelter in a construction shed. The fatal accident occurred at the West Seneca School for Retarded Children at East and West Roads, now under construction. Rushed to Mercy Hospital, where he later died, was 29-year-old Desmond Osborne of 268 Ashland Avenue, Buffalo. Admitted to OLV Hospital in good condition is 44-year-old Joseph Soika of 64 Park Avenue, Depew. Another workman, 41-year-old Henry Miadlik, told KB Mobile newsman Don Keller that he turned around a moment to put on his shirt. When he looked back, the other two men were lying on the ground. Wherever news breaks, KB is there first. Police of the 17th Precinct captured a young bandit this afternoon, shortly after he held up the branch office of the Black Rock Riverside Savings and Loan Association at 1534 Hurdle near Wellington. The bandit was not immediately identified. They're taking him down to headquarters now for booking. Incidentally, a special commendation for bravery should go out to 17th Precinct Desk Lieutenant Navarro, who chased this hood on foot, cornered him at the rear of 681 Parkside. This hood was armed. Lieutenant Navarro scuffled with the bandit, slammed him overhead with a gun. The bandit managed to get away on foot, but they caught him. So, a tip of the KB hat to Desk Lieutenant Navarro of 17th Precinct, a brave officer. In other KB News headlines, the United States has demanded return of an airliner hijacked over Florida and flown to Havana. The Eastern Airlines turboprop jet left Miami for Tampa with 32 passengers and a 5-man crew aboard. Radar men noted it had changed course shortly after takeoff. Then another pilot reported hearing the word gun mentioned. An Air Force jet interceptor followed the airliner to the Cuban international boundary, although it could not stop the plane. The airline says the plane was commandeered, but details have not yet been reported. The State Department demanded return of the plane and its passengers and crew through the Swiss embassy in Havana. Well, the meaning of Berlin will be brought into millions of Americans' homes tomorrow night by the president. According to KB Washington correspondent Jim Randolph, President Kennedy will make a radio TV address and speak of the sacrifices, both personal and material, the U.S. can expect to make to save Berlin and others from the communist threat. Mr. Kennedy's decisions are the fruit of weeks of secret consultations with allies and White House aides. Meanwhile, the president's defense plan for Berlin met with informal NATO approval in Paris today. The 15-nation NATO Permanent Council acted on the measure before U.S. Defense Secretary Bob McNamara flew to London. McNamara plans to continue his briefing of Western allies on the Berlin crisis strategy. Finally, the administration has raised the cost estimates of the proposed program of medical care for the aged. The Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare says Social Security taxes would have to be raised 10% above earlier estimates to pay for the program. Secretary Abraham Ribicoff made his comments as the House Ways and Means Committee opened 2 weeks of public hearings on the program this morning. The weather in a moment.
Mr. Weatherman, take the cue and tell us what the weather's going to do.
Thunderstorms in the area tonight, possibly of severe intensity with hail and damaging winds. Continued warm and humid through tomorrow. Isolated thunder showers likely again tomorrow afternoon or night. Low tonight about 70, high tomorrow in the 80s. Small craft warnings are up. Present KB temperature, 73 degrees. Relative humidity, 90%. The winds from the west at 10. Lake Erie water temperature, 72 degrees. KB pays cash for news. If you're on the scene of a news event, call Action Central immediately at TT4-5107.
Repeating, the K-Big story of the moment.
Workman killed by bolt of lightning.
More news any moment. More news any moment. More news any moment. On KB.
Exploring 2 and 3.